Welcome, guys, to another beautiful day in sunny Sarasota. We are here to talk to you about the topic of how to make America great again through a plant-based diet. No, we are not here to talk about Trump and how awesome or unawesome he is, depending on where you stand. We are not here to get into that political discussion. But we are here today to talk about how a plant-based diet can be beneficial not only for people's health, but also for the economy. The economy is incredibly weighed down at this time, largely due to the healthcare system. We were looking over at the debt analysis that is on the government's website, and 27% of the federal budget is spent 27% of the federal budget is spent on healthcare issues. These are diseases, chronic diseases that are largely preventable through eating a balanced, whole food, plant-based diet. So, by taking care of your health and being more proactive, you can take responsibility and cut out a lot of unnecessary costs that burden the government.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know, the United States is currently almost about $20 trillion in debt. And that's definitely a huge issue that affects everyone in the economy. And right now, the way healthcare costs are, it costs you as a taxpayer approximately around $10,000 a year. That if the government wasn't incurring that debt, then you wouldn't have to pay that in taxes. So this issue directly affects you. Whenever somebody puts meat on their plate or other animal products and they're getting themselves closer to getting heart disease, diabetes, cancer, etc., that is directly costing you money from your pocket that you wouldn't have to spend otherwise.
Part of what has made America such an inspiration and a leader in the world has been its innovation, and part of the American heritage, the American spirit, is really being a pioneer and looking for new ways to live life. In that sense, Americans are truly futurists. You know, we're always looking for the next thing, the next improvement, the next way to make life a better place for everybody. And the present situation that we're facing, that the healthcare crisis is such a huge thing in the world. With people adopting a westernized diet, and the negative health consequences of that, it's really started in the Industrial Revolution, where we developed all these technologies where we can make all these convenient foods, which we didn't know at the time the consequences of eating all these processed foods and eating so much meat. We didn't realize how detrimental that was going to be on people's health, but now that we are aware and we have all this scientific literature and information coming out clearly stating that meat is going to be detrimental to your health, give you heart disease, promote cancer, promote diabetes. This is all accessible on the World Health Organization, which is an organization funded by the United Nations. Very credible resources that are coming out and making it publicly known that animal byproducts are just detrimental to your health. This is the same organization that tells you that tobacco and alcohol is bad for your health. So you can take some comfort in that. Given the present circumstances and with all of this new information, I think there's a huge opportunity for the American people to innovate and to create solutions that will solve our current crisis. Some of these solutions is, innovating new alternatives, new plant-based alternatives for meats or typical meat foods that people are used to eating. People aren't going to go overnight eating beans, legumes, quinoa, super clean, whole foods, plant-based diet. Hell, 4 years ago when I first was introduced to it and I was, figuring all this stuff out, getting like a Boca burger or like all these different veggie burgers from the frozen food section was completely normal. Even a little over a year ago, I was still eating tofurkey wraps and like these processed meat alternatives. Although they may not be the healthiest thing, they are an awesome replacement for the typical American foods, and they make like a really easy transitionable option for people who want to eat more plant-based, lessen their carbon footprint, benefit their health, and reduce animal suffering. So I think there's just a huge niche in market potential for people and entrepreneurs who want to, step up and not only benefit themselves but also benefit a lot of people and benefit the environment and animals at the same time.
Entrepreneurship is something that definitely really embodies the American spirit. And I can tell you through backpacking through Europe last fall that entrepreneurship is definitely like a huge part of American culture, and it's just not like that anywhere else in the world. The United States has always led in different innovations throughout time. Even, you look back at like the Industrial Revolution, like Ryan said, the technology revolution, where
Apple, Microsoft,
where Apple and Microsoft led in producing computers and spreading it all around the world. And right now, this is a similar time in the world. The United States has the opportunity to lead the vegan revolution in the world and to create plant-based alternatives. We have the information. We know that animal agriculture is a leading contributor to global warming. We know that all of the different animal products are the leading contributor to a lot of chronic diseases that are completely preventable in the United States and around the world. And right now, the US has the opportunity to lead the world in plant-based alternatives and to lead the world in eating more whole foods, plant-based products. If the United States does this, the effects on the healthcare system would be monumental. The healthcare system right now, the United States, taxpayers spend around $1.2 trillion in spending. The whole entire healthcare system itself is around $3.23 trillion. That's a lot of money. That's bigger than the GDP of most countries. And right now, if the US went plant-based or more plant-based and led in a lot of alternatives, this would have a huge impact on reducing disease in the United States and helping people live healthier and happier lives. The founding fathers of the United States talked about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And how can people do that whenever they're plagued with chronic diseases? Whenever we're polluting our earth and causing the destruction of our planet through our human activity of raising livestock and killing them for food and releasing a lot of toxic greenhouse gases into the atmosphere like methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide. We're at a point right now where the United States, if it becomes the leading country in the vegan revolution, can really lead all the countries in the world to a greener future. And
something I want to add is, like, I'm not here to say like, going vegan is the cure-all to like every problem in the world, but I do think it's a step in the right direction. So problems and things that come up, there's always like a multi-level, angle approach where like a lot of things need to come together to solve a problem or move things in the right direction. I do think going vegan is a step in the right direction, and it's a way you can solve many problems and the best way to really make change is to really live your life as an example. By living on a whole foods plant-based diet, you automatically are taking responsibility for your health. You're taking a proactive stance on disease prevention. That immediately is going to impact people around you. And by leaving meat off your plate, you're not voting with your dollar anymore to contribute to animal agriculture, which is destroying our environment. And the implications of living on a whole foods plant-based diet, it hits on many fronts. And given the topic of this video on making America great again, the more people who take responsibility for their health and make it a priority in their lives, and individuals making it a priority in their lives, parents caring about the health of their children, and not necessarily buying into the marketing schemes that these really, really wealthy companies produce to convince people to buy their products. All of these little decisions accumulate, and that's what makes change. And by people empowering themselves and eating a whole foods plant-based diet, they can really make a positive impact on their country. Given that we're in America and healthcare is one of the biggest burdens on the federal budget, this is a great way for people to really show patriotism in a way, and to really say that they care about life, they're alive, and they care about their country, they care about their neighbor. And in my opinion, eating a whole foods plant-based diet is one of the best ways you can live your life as a testament and really embody your values.
Yeah, and in the United States, kind of like the history of our country, it's not about mandating that, okay, the science is, this way, and we are going to force everyone to eat a plant-based diet. In America, it's all about the freedom to have the decision, and choices, and to empower your own life. And that's a really good point Ryan made, is really to kind of spread this message. By being a vegan yourself, you really impact, everyone around you. You influence them to make the decision to change or spread information, or they're like, man, that guy's vegan? Wow. I never really thought about it, and that's a cool dude, or something. And the decision to go vegan is something you can do that by inspiring other people, you're really helping the country be a better place. The whole entire country, people are plagued by disease, and we spend tons on healthcare. And if people didn't have all these diseases, and the United States wasn't such a sick nation, then we would be able to be more productive as a country. There would be more economic growth if people aren't sick and in the hospital, and taxpayers are paying for the sick. Everyone would be alive and feeling healthier. Whenever you eat a plant-based diet, I can really attest from my own experience that you just feel full of life. You have a lot more energy. You feel healthier. You don't have to just go to the doctor multiple times a year. It's pretty rare to go to the doctor. It affects your whole being, and by being the best you, that can make the best impact on everyone around you.
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, actually. It really brought up something in me. There was a few year period, I'm sure many people go through this, but there was a multi-year period in my life where I was searching for answers, and I'd say I think I could safely call myself depressed. I was a very depressed person, and whenever I made the decision to adopt a whole foods plant-based diet, not only did my biology gain more energy, more vitality, just I kind of lost that lethargy, biologically lost that lethargy. but it also gave me a sense of purpose in that I knew that I was no longer contributing to unnecessary harm to beings that very truly can feel. I was no longer contributing to a system that is completely devastating our planet. For a long time, I could see the destruction that was happening around me, like through industrialization and through people just like wreaking havoc on the environment in the name of profit. And I felt a little bit helpless, like what can I do? Like there's just so much to this, and whenever I discovered some of the leading contributors to these problems, it became very clear that by making a simple decision like leaving meat off my plate, I could really live life more in line with my values. That was incredibly empowering, and it really gave me a lot of purpose. So not only was it like a biologically invigorating decision, it also was a psychologically empowering decision, because it was something that I could very easily do without taking much. It didn't take much effort for me to switch to a plant-based diet, basically. Given all the alternatives out there, it was very easy. It wasn't the beacon of health, because I was incredibly inexperienced and stuff, but at the same time, it was a step in the right direction, and it definitely had a huge positive impact on my life. And it was definitely like the awakening and the kind of like the transitioning into a new phase of my life and leaving behind like a very sad, depressed era that I learned a lot from, but I'm happy to be past now.
The main thing that needs to change for the United States to go more plant-based is really for businesses and countries or companies and manufacturers to sell more meat alternatives. And really the way this happens in the United States is for the demand for it to increase. And we've already seen from Tyson Foods that they are expanding to make meat alternatives, and if other companies like this follow suit in the United States, this is a huge step in the right direction. By demanding and being vegan yourself for more meat alternatives and voting with your dollar less for actual meat, by not buying meat and essentially voting with your dollar for meat, you're using your power to affect change and essentially say to the companies that you want them to produce more vegan alternatives. The more and more people that go vegan, the more and more these companies will make vegan alternatives, and this creates the change in the world that we are talking about. This creates less destruction to the environment. This creates less chronic diseases by having more meat alternatives available for people. This creates less animal suffering, less animals having to die to put food on your plate. So just by making that one decision about being vegan, you can truly make America great again.
If there's anything you felt like we left out of this video, please leave a comment below. If you want to jump into the discussion, tell us how wrong we are.
We want to hear your thoughts.
Constructive criticism. Words are tough. Definitely leave your comments below. Like this video, share it with a friend, and let us know what you think. Can we make America great again through going vegan? As always, we make these videos for
the animals,
the planet,
and our health vegan.